I don't want to waste any time getting to our guest because I geeked out on the phone already with him during the news because I have been a fan of his since I saw him first on the practice. But I probably have seen him even before that. But neither here nor there. You've heard the songs that we've been playing, snippets of the Project 2025 song by Jason Kravits, who joins us on the line in the spirit of Schoolhouse Rock. It's a devastatingly funny song in devastatingly dangerous times. Thank you for joining us, Jason. How are you doing tonight?
Hi, Patty. Thank you for having me, and hello, everybody, all of your listeners. Great to be here.
Excellent. Well, first of all, also congratulations on Only Murders in the Building and all your wonderful career of bringing us joy, laughter, anger, rage, all the things. You do all the emotions for, like, we just, so great. And so tell us what made you sit down with pen, paper, music, and get this song done? Because this is a heavy lift to get all the information about what Predator 2025 threatens. Almost all of it is really in the song.
Oh, yeah, you're not kidding. And actually, that's not true. I think I've got about a tenth of what's in that thing into the song. It's kind of incredible. But yeah, I think I was where everybody else in the progressive world is, which is in disbelief about what's going on and feeling very impotent in how to participate and how to make change. And I think I was reading, a friend of mine was mentioning, I think, Heather Cox Richardson's adage about do what you do. Get involved the way you can get involved, the way you know how to do it. So I write parody songs. I was a Schoolhouse Rock fan, and it just kind of struck me to do a Schoolhouse Rock parody. So I did not read the whole document myself. I couldn't bear it without getting nauseated very quickly. So I reached out to a whole bunch of friends, and I got 30 people to each commit to read 30 pages of the document and just report back to me with a summary, but also I wanted specifics. I wanted page numbers. I wanted quotes. I wanted to know exactly what was in there because I've been hearing a lot about it. I didn't know what was actually in it. So they reported back to me. I took that, kind of summarized what they wrote, turned it into what was originally probably a 10-minute song that I narrowed down to about 4 minutes, and then I recorded it. After that, I had to figure out how to animate it, which was a whole other story. But yeah, that was the process.
It is. As artists, we want to sort of process what's going on in our lives. When I do stand-up comedy, I'm autobiographical. I'm not as topical as some other comics might be. But when we're in this time like that, but that's the beauty of having a radio show. I can talk about it and talk through it. Sure. It's hard for me to feel funny about it. And so that's what's so great about this song is that it is important. It's an incredible amount of information, and it's got so much humor to it. It's got humor and heart in the style of Schoolhouse Rock, which, dear God, we need so much more of that. So thank you for bringing it back.
That was my pleasure. I wish I could do more between now and the elections. Enough time to write another and animate a whole other thing. It was a one-man job when I started. I actually animated it myself too, which I had to teach myself how to animate. So I'm not sure I can do another one of those, but there are other things I'm thinking about doing and other ways of, obviously there's other ways of getting involved, canvassing and letter writing. And people, if that's your strength and that's something you feel comfortable doing, I would encourage people to do that. It not only is good for the election, it also makes you feel like you're in control to a certain extent as opposed to feeling out of control.
So I will tell you, where are you from originally, Jason?
I grew up outside of Washington, D.C., our nation's capital.
Hey! Oh, so you've grown up around the energy of politics. That's wild.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, to your point, so I grew up in Illinois. I grew up in Chicago, and I've spent many summers in Wisconsin, which, as you know, is one of the pivotal states in this election. Mm-hmm. So we have been so they call us, Wisconsinites, they call us, their term of endearment for us is FIBS, which means effing Illinois bastards. So we've created a group called Fibs for Wisconsin. And I'll tell you, we started out a few folks going to Kenosha, going to Elkhorn, and we have groups going up to Milwaukee. But this past weekend, just to give you an idea of the energy that's in places like our neck of the woods, we had over 100 people, most from Chicago. We knocked on 2,300 doors over Saturday and Sunday.
Wow.
So
amazing.
And so I just want to, and I know it's happening all over the country. And so when you say, I wish I could do more, just so you know, I mean, like being able to play your song and and I know people connecting with it, whether it's on, social media or going to YouTube, like it also engages them. So please don't feel like you have, you know what I mean? I know that, inherently, but still.
Well, I'm very pleased that it's gotten the attention it's gotten for the sake of the song rather than for the sake of, my own, advocation. I'm really glad that I'm happy that it's out there and being viewed. And yet, I've subjected myself to a lot of these stupid YouTube comments. And let me tell you, it doesn't, no, you should never do that. I stopped doing that. My partner made it clear that she was not going to have me looking at YouTube comments and getting depressed about those because it's the drugs of society. But it was, I still have I would think I'm playing off the campaign, right?
Sure.
You got to have a certain level of positivity in what's going on. And I think that that's why when I wrote the song, I wanted it to have an ending that felt uplifting as opposed to, isn't this atrocious? And look what we're aiming for. People kept saying, do you need to have the turn at the end where you talk about the positivity? I'm like, yeah, you do. That's how the campaign is moving forward. And that's how I feel about this country. And I don't know, buddy, I don't know how old you are. I'm imagining you're a child and you wouldn't remember the original Schoolhouse Rock. But
sweet, no.
On the assumption that you've watched them in many, many reruns years later. So the Schoolhouse Rock mentality came about at a time when I was growing up where there was some sort of, we knew things were not great in this country. They've never been great in this country for everybody. And there was an idealistic quality, like, things aren't great, but we're all moving somewhere. We're all getting together. We didn't know what that meant, but there was a feeling of hope, and that has been frittered away starting back in 1980, I would say. It started getting frittered away, and now we're here, and I miss that. I really miss that. So I'm hoping this song has a little bit of that in it as well.
Well, as a fellow Gen Xer who is 4 years shy of you, so I do remember that, and we talk about that a lot. It's so frustrating that there isn't any permanence of what has gone on before, and look, as you mentioned, the 70s weren't great. We had a lot of turmoil, but it's I could go on a whole thing about how Ronald Reagan's impact continues to be something we can't untangle ourselves from, whether it's the tax rates or how unions were impacted. But my dad was a Republican, my mom is a Democrat, and so I grew up knowing you could love somebody that you didn't agree with. And believe me, I always knew my dad was wrong, but it's just I agree with you. We weren't like this. It wasn't idyllic. It wasn't great for everybody. But holy moly, this is just the way folks are entranced by Trump is just and what the Heritage Foundation seeks to inflict on us is unimaginable. So what you've done, I really appreciate it.
Thank you. I'm hoping it'll make a difference. Let's keep going.
You're making it. Like I said, when you make folks like our listeners, our volunteers laugh. I mean, like that energy, is captured. It's all part of the bigger picture of it, the momentum of it. Because
I appreciate you saying so. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I you know what I'll do is I am going up we're going up every weekend to Wisconsin, so we'll make sure we have a way to play the song for folks and direct them. And where do you prefer folks enjoy this? By the way, we're talking to Jason Kravits. He's written and produced and performed and done the animation for the Project 2025 song. Where do you like to direct folks to enjoy the music?
Usually I'll direct them to the YouTube channel, which is it's easy to find if you just Google Kravits 5678, which is Kravits with an S, not like Lenny. We're not related. I wish we were, but it's Kravits with an S, 5678. Or you can find that same Jason Kravits on Instagram. You can find it there too, and enjoy it there.
That's fantastic. Have you always been politically? Because as I said, I am a fellow Gen Xer. But I'm a dork when it comes to politics. When I was in grade school, I used to run home to watch the Iran-Contra hearings. I remember. I remember Ollie North taking the oath and lying and stuff like that. Were you always sort of politically engaged?
I think I was interested. I don't know if I was politically engaged. I think I grew up in a family. We had a mixed race family. We adopted in a time when this was not something that was done. We adopted my younger sister, who is black, and so when I was 4 years old, so I grew up in this mixed race family. So I was always very attuned to people's rights and to equality, and I think I was very aware of that in the world, and that leads into everything. You talk about equality and fairness and justice and the things that resonated with me when I was young in my family just bled out into all the other types of politics eventually, when I started paying more attention to it later.
And when did you become interested in the arts? Were you interested in the theater at a young age?
Oh, I was born with jazz hands, as they say. I don't know. It's funny. My parents were not directly, not professionally in the arts, and neither were any of my relatives. But my father did community theater and directed and acted in community theater. So we all got involved. I have 3 other siblings, and we all got involved at a very young age in the arts, and we all are still in it in some way, shape, or form. And it felt like it's part of my DNA, even though it wasn't a professional thing for people. But yeah, no, I've been doing this since I was young and never had a desire to do anything else.
Oh, wow. Now, did you go to New York or to LA first?
Well, I was in grew up in D.C. area in Maryland, and then stayed there for 6 years after college. I worked in theater there and got my jobs and had a great experience and still have very close friends down there. Then I moved to New York and then LA and then back to New York. And I'm mostly on the East Coast now, although we go back and forth quite a bit.
Yeah, I tried. I used to commute to LA, pitching projects and things like that. But I just LA is not my. I can't with LA. It's nice when it's cold. It's a great place to be. It's a nice warm. You can walk outside. You can have coffee outside. It's pretty. But I find it. A friend of mine put it this way. They said, and I'm sure this is true of Chicago in some ways as well, although I haven't spent a ton of time there, and in the Midwest, is there's a serendipity to New York where you're going to see people. You're going to run into interesting things. There's culture that you're going to find. In LA, that doesn't exist. You have to plan everything way in advance, because I always see you do 10 things a day in New York and you do 3 things a day in LA. You can do something in the morning, something in the early afternoon, and either something at night or something in the late afternoon. You can't do both because of traffic. So that's all you get. So you better know what you're doing. That's my experience. So I'm much more of an immediate gratification guy. So I like being able to walk out to the CVS at 11 o'clock at night and go, I got to go get that thing for tomorrow, and not have to worry about, I got to get in the car. I got to find a place to park. What's traffic going to be like? So yeah, that's my experience. Again, that's so true. By the way, you must come and spend more time in Chicago. I don't know if you know this, but thankfully we had glorious weather during the DNC and we dazzled folks. I love my city. I'm very proud of it. I love Chicago.
The times I've been there, I'm like, this is a great city. I love hanging out there. I just have not had the opportunity to do it. No one's invited me, Patty. I go places by invite only sometimes.
Well, I wish I had a project to invite you to work on. I can invite you. It's just the draw is just the invite and good food. I won't. It's so funny.
That's true. I do like the food.
You know what's so funny? I think that people sleep on Philadelphia. Have you gone to Philly for food? Because their food is.
My son is in college in Philadelphia, so I've been to Philadelphia quite a bit, and the food scene there is actually really great.
Yes,
really great.
Yeah.
So we've been. I got to be careful how often I go down there, because not only is it too much food, but how often does my son at this age in college want his father to be hanging around?
No doubt.
I'm here for food. Come for dinner. Come on, Dad. Again, I'm going to a party. Shut up. Yeah.
Well, I'll be down the street at the Italian restaurant, not for nothing.
Exactly.
Again, we're talking to Jason Kravits. You can catch him in the current season 4 of Only Murders in the Building on Hulu. And before I let you go, I do want to ask. And by the way, the song is Project 2025. You can find it on YouTube. Again, what's the Jason Kravits? What was the number, John?
It's Kravits, Kravits, 5678, as in, and a 5, 6, 7, 8. It's just count off. It's a count off for music. And I do have a couple other political things that I did, during the first election, during lockdown, when we were all still dealing with the Orange Menace. And I had a couple of political things that I put up there. So a lot of fun stuff on there, but there's a few nice political jabs out there as well. So,
well, I'm so grateful for the contribution you're making to this campaign, because it really is. I know that do you want to talk a little bit about the Harris Walz campaign connecting with you, or is that something that we should learn about later?
No, it's fine. I mean, the Harris Walz campaign during, I guess in April, I am a member of the Creative Coalition, which is a group of Hollywood artists and Broadway artists that basically petition in a nonpartisan way. They advocate the government for arts funding, for NEA funding and things like that, which is always on the chopping block, of course. So we go down and talk to congressmen, congresswomen, and their aides about how and why it should be passed and things like that, and how we advocate for it. So when I was down there, I got to meet people in the Biden White House administration, and one of those people now works in the Harris Walz campaign, and she thought to include some of us that were more partisan in our thoughts over to work with them, not outside of the Creative Coalition, but only on an individual basis. So I've been connected with them, and I'm planning to go canvassing in Pennsylvania soon and participate in any other way I can. So, yeah. Oh,
great. And folks should follow you on Instagram. Where would you like to direct folks? Because I'm sure you'll have photos of your adventures, too.
Yes, of course. You can follow me on the Insta at Jason Kravits, which is just my name straight out with an S at the end. Excellent, Jason. Well, we'd love to have you on the show. We invite you to Chicago. I've got an invite. Now I got to go.
You got an invite. I mean, I self-tape for, I was going to ask you about that. Like, the industry has changed so much over the last few years, the self-taping, and I self-tape for Chicago. Like, I have auditioned for, I had a recurring role as a nurse, just a couple lines here and there, but so much fun. The crew, I will tell you, the crew for all the Chicago shows, PD, Med, and Fire, are fantastic. So tell them you want to come to Chicago and send a tape. I
think you should tell them I want to come to Chicago. Honestly, I would love to work on the show. I know, I have almost never auditioned for those for the Chicago shows, and I would love to go to Chicago and work on the show.
I'm just saying.
How many doctors have I played in my life?
Right.
Patty, I'm counting on you. I'll give you an extra 5% if you just hit me in that door.
Exactly. All right, let's get it done, folks. Thank you so much for sharing your music, your talent with us, bringing, like I said, so much joy over the years, and for being a part of this fight as we head into the election on November 5th. We look forward to connecting with you again.
Thanks so much, Patty. I'll talk to you more soon, hopefully in Chicago.
Yes, please. My treat,
right,
as far as a dinner goes. I got dinner on me.
Oh, I like it.
Gale Street.
Like it.
We're taking him to Gale Street, everybody. All right, have a great night, Jason.
All right, talk to you soon. Bye.
Yep, that's where I would take him, is Gale Street, because I got to show people my neighborhood. I got to take him to the Gale Street. People, I love the ribs at Gale Street, but oh my God, I don't know if they have a new chef, but their London broil, and their salmon always has been fantastic. Now I'm going to get hungry. I got to stop. When we come back, I'll play the Project 2025 song. One of the versions of it. I think I've got one of we'll stand by. More after this. And Dan Schaefer from the Beacon Babulation area is joining us at 6:30. More in a moment.
Because facts matter. You're listening to WCPT 820.
Hey there, who are you? Oh, just the most important document in our country's history. You mean the Constitution? Nope. The Declaration of Independence? Yes, again. The Federalist Papers? The Federalist, what? No, even more important than whatever you just said. Now sit right here and I'll tell you all about me. I'm just a little paper for the ages, a way to set the government straight. A short 887 pages on how to make America great again by forcing through the president's agenda, removing all of those who disagree, replacing with our loyal party members, and reclaim our great country. In sum, give power to the president to authorize the government to legislate morality and wrestle back normality from Marxist ideologies that infiltrate our policies like gender, race, or anything woke. We're gonna abolish the Department of Education, turn the swearing in into a coronation. America's great salvation will arrive with Project 2025. Coronation? You mean like a king? No, it's called the unitary executive theory. Gives the next president unchecked power to do whatever they want. So, a king. Oh, let's not get hung up on semantics. Here's how it's gonna work. Once that we've started the transition, and no one's left to tell us to wait, We'll go through every policy position, get rid of all the language that we hate, like civil rights, diversity, and unions, and pronouns to mention but a few. Defunding any liberal institutions that dare question what we do.
I'm pretty sure the Supreme Court...
Oh, the Supreme Court. That's a good one. Now, where was I? Abortion will be pretty much illegal, and reproductive rights will be gone. We'll get back to the biblical ideal that a family means a daddy and a mom with kids. Repeal the crazy climate regulations that get in the economy's way, with everyone reporting to their stations on Inauguration Day, when we give power to the president to authorize the government to legislate morality, expelling abnormality like godless ideologies, protecting inequalities like gender, race, and anything woke. We're gonna abolish the Department of Education, convert the melting pot into a Christian nation. The stage is set and we'll be going live in 2025.
You can't seriously say all that.
Wanna bet? Come on, let's crack me open.
Page 124.
Make more nuclear weapons.
Page 257.
End the war on fossil fuels.
Page 214.
No more gun violence protection.
Page 298.
Feeding hungry kids at our schools.
Turn to page 5.
Ban offensive books from the classroom.
563.
Make it hard to register to vote.
Page 449.
Dismantle Medicare.
534.
Kill off the grizzly
Page
bear.
4.
Delete the term sexual orientation, gender equality, awareness of sensitivity, diversity, equity, inclusion, abortion, reproductive health, and reproductive rights out of every rule, regulation, contract, grant, and piece of federal legislation that exists. And that's an actual quote. And that, my friend, is only the beginning of how this makes America great. You'll be so overwhelmed with all the winning that you won't know what you've lost till it's too...
Wait! This doesn't sound great at all.
No?
No, it sounds like...
That was bleeped, right? Okay. I just looked at each other like that was Jason Kravitz, Project 2025. 385 says, I love Schoolhouse Rock. This is awesome. Also love Only Murders in the Building. What is his role in it? Big Mike is the name of the character. That's what I found while I was online. So that was Jason Kravitz.